Raider Nation, what's going on? It's mailbag time. Remember, I go live every single Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific, and I answer all y'all's questions. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure you do so because I don't want you to miss our live shows. This first one's coming in from David Taken. Cut or trade the following: Furl, Kwiatkowski, Littleton. I'm iffy on Abram. If he can be moved to linebacker, then keep. It all depends. You're going to have to try to trade Furl. You're going to more than likely move on from Quit and Littleton. And Abram, you're going to have to more than likely keep him, though, because you can't, not that you can't cut him. I don't think cutting him makes sense. You're either going to try to trade Klee and Abram. If you can't trade him, you end up keeping both. Let's go to Anthony Morales. Raiders make a push for Ridley. Atlanta willing to part ways. So this is actually a player that I've talked about before. Calvin Ridley, the 26th overall pick back in the 2018 draft from Alabama. Really liked his athleticism. Had a bad year last season, played in only 5 games. However, he had 10 touchdowns as a rookie. I believe 1,377 yards in 2020. Really was able to take over for Julio Jones. I like Calvin Ridley a lot. However, I do think Atlanta is probably going to want a third, maybe a second-round pick. Though, I would more than happily give up let's say the Raiders don't go out and get a top guy in free agency. They're not 100% sure if one of their top receivers is going to be available at pick 22. I'd be more than willing to give up a second or a third-round pick to go out and get a receiver like Calvin Ridley, who's 26 years old, still got a lot of good years left in him, and can really help out this offense. Let's go to LI Raider 312. Much love, big time super chat. With the reports of Rodgers becoming the highest paid player per year, do you see a better chance of us being able to get Adams? That will be a lot of money for the Packers for 2 players. So essentially what you're talking about is there was a report out there that Rodgers wanted like $50 million and Adams could potentially be looking at $30 to $35 million a year. Packers don't have that much money. However, they have been trying to move a lot of money around, and they've been doing their best at it. I can't really give you a good answer because I don't know what Aaron Rodgers is going to do. He's so unpredictable, but I do know that Adams wants to be a Raider, and if he were to make $30 million a year in Vegas compared to $30 million in Green Bay, you're going to make more. Why? The taxes. So I personally believe that Davante Adams wants to come to the Raiders. It's just, will the Raiders have enough money to make it happen? Let's go to Christopher Leonard. Mitch, any chance we actually get Calais Campbell? So Calais Campbell, 36 years old. He's my number 2 overall defensive tackle this offseason. And if he could sign a 1-year deal, he would be my number 1 dude. And the reason why I'm guessing that you're asking this is because, Yannick Ngakoue over the weekend tweeted out, was like, let's go ahead and get Calais Campbell to the dark side. And yeah, I quote to it, I was like, hell yeah, let's absolutely go ahead and do it. But on top of that, remember, Calais and Yannick, they go way back from their times together with the Jacksonville. And Yannick was able to come in right away, be a good fit. I get it, a little bit of a defense or different scheme. But Campbell at 36 years old, he's still a dude that can absolutely get it done. So what do y'all think here? I'm going to type my Y for yes. I know that Campbell can still be a reliable defensive player. But what do y'all have to say? Y for yes and for no. Should the Raiders go out and sign Calais Campbell? All right, this next one's coming in from Logan Turk. Appreciate the super chat. I think we should take Bernhard Rainmann. So Bernhard Rainmann is another really good offensive tackle prospect from Central Michigan. He falls into a hard category for me because I have Evan Neal as my number 1, Ekwonu, the kid from North Carolina State, and then there's Charles Cross from Mississippi State, then Trevor Penning's the number 4 OT, and then it's Rainmann as my number 5. The issue is Rainmann seems to me is more of a left tackle prospect, where Penning is more of a right tackle prospect, and I do not want the Raiders again to try to say, okay, this guy played left tackle. We might be able to kick him over to the right side. There was a lot to put on Alex Otherwood's plate, and I don't know if I want to see them do that again. I like Rainmann a lot, good prospect, but I'll take Trevor Penning over Rainmann. This next one is coming in from Christopher again. Will we bring back Trufant for our defense? It's kind of hard to wrap my mind around at this current juncture because I did think Desmond Trufant fit better into what Gus Bradley tried to do. I've said multiple times on the show, Raiders are not going to bring back Casey Hayward. Trufant fit well at times, though. He definitely showed his age on some others. It's really going to come down to, do Patrick Graham, does this defensive unit think that Trufant can help the team out right away? I'm hoping Trayvon Mullen can stay healthy. I'm hoping Amik Robertson can get his shit together. And I do think the Raiders go out and add some more talent at certain positions at corner. But we'll have to see. At this current point, though, I'll say no. I don't see Trufant coming back. Oh, man, it's my 23rd birthday today. Can I get a Raider? Shout out to Philip Rodriguez. Happy 23rd birthday. Glad you're spending it with the nation and myself. Let's go to Michael Says. Mitch, okay. What do you think now the Raiders have basically a Patriots coaching staff and new stadium? The NFL will help with a little push for the Super Bowl. I mean, the Raiders are already going to be hosting a Super Bowl in 2024. I'm not sure if that's what you're asking, or are you saying because like now they have Patriots guys, like it's not going to be the NFL against the Raiders? I don't really have a great answer for that. I mean, if there's anything, I also don't know if the NFL likes the Patriots because they've also cheated so many damn times. So we'll see what ends up happening, but all I know is that we got to start winning games. That's what matters the most. So if you guys got a question, I want you to go ahead and subscribe. Join our live mailbags every single week. I do go live every single Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific, unless we get breaking news. And during the offseason, I know this is kind of a slow period right now, but the combine and all that's getting started. Once free agency gets going, once trades get going, I don't care if it's 10 o'clock at night and I'm chilling at home with my dog Chuck. If the Raiders do something, I come into the studio, we break it all down for you, and I promise we'll have a good time as well. If you don't believe me, look up Kenyon Drake's signing video last offseason. Let's go to Juicehead89. What's up, Mitch? Will we ever draft a Cliff Branch type of wide receiver again? I know you're referring to Henry Ruggs as being that Cliff Branch style of guy, and maybe. I mean, if you're going to go out and try to find a really good athlete that brings a lot of speed, sure. But I also don't want the Raiders to think, okay, every Cliff Branch style, every Henry Ruggs style receiver is going to do the boneheaded shit that Ruggs did this past season. I mean, nobody could have predicted that, so I'm going to sit here and say, yes, I'm sure the Raiders will be more than likely go ahead and they try to find a speedster that they can put up the seam, they can use all over the football field like they tried with Ruggs. Let's go to Chris Q. A lot of people are low on Chris Olave. Why do you think that is? The only thing I can come up with for Chris Olave is because he's not this, like, shiny new toy. He's a little bit undersized. Everyone has Garrett Wilson ranked a little bit higher than him, and I do find at times people rank a player not how they would fit with the Raiders. I've said for a while that I think Chris Olave would be the best fit for the Raiders if they can go out and they get a number one receiver. Why? Olave does something that a lot of people take for granted. He gets open. Hunter Renfrow is not a spectacular athlete. However, Hunter Renfrow is a elite route runner and is very intelligent. That's what Chris Olave does. He's a lot more athletic than Hunter Renfrow, but Olave's ability to get open is why he'd be my number one overall prospect for the Raiders. He's not my number one overall wide receiver prospect because that might go to actually Garrett Wilson or somebody has the upside of Drake London or the size of Treylon Burks. But for the Raiders, I love Chris Olave. Let's go to Xavier68. Would you like it if the Raiders signed Mike Williams? It's going to come down to money, right? Because Mike Williams has been a guy when he first came out of Clemson, drafted number 7 overall. I liked him a lot. Good prospect. However, couldn't really stay healthy and has had one good season. And I don't want to pay a receiver based off of one good season because that's when you get yourself in trouble. If he's willing to take, I don't know, $13, $14 million a year, then I'll think about it. What worries me is, though, 7th overall pick, had a good year. He's going to want more than likely a lot more money. And I don't want to deal with any receivers that have the amount of injuries that Mike Williams has had. Y'all, this might be your last opportunity to get this Just Win Baby shirt because I've been checking out the link, chatsports.com/RaidersT. We don't have too many available. Now, we also have the Raider Nation shirt available as well. However, these have been going very, very quickly. So if you want to get your hands on this Just Win Baby t-shirt or the Raider Nation t-shirt as well, then you need to go to chatsports.com/RaidersT. That link is going to be available for y'all in the comments and in the description of today's video. Let's go to JMoH, a.k.a. Devil J. Mitch, best under 25-year-old player, top 5. You mean in free agency? Like, who's the top player under 20, or best under 25-year-old player, top 5? I mean, off the top of my head, how old is Max Crosby? Let me look up Max's age. Max 24. If you're talking about 25-year-olds on the Raiders, then yeah, Max is going to be my answer. If that's not what you're looking for, let me know, because there's not many free agents under the age of 25. There's not many players that I would say that are the best guys in the NFL under the age of 25. So on the Raiders, I'll say Max Crosby. Let's go Sir Lister of Smeg. Raiders are on the clock. Davis, Dean, Williams, and Olave are on the board. Mark looks to Mitch and says, who do you want? I mean, knowing what I know right now, and if this is the Raiders' free agency, I don't know anything about free agency. I don't know anything about any of that. I'll take Jordan Davis, the defensive tackle from Georgia. He's one of my favorite prospects. The Raiders have a massive need at DT. And not that I don't love the DTs in free agency. They're just a little bit older in age. And after Jordan Davis, there's not really anybody else that I would take in round one. When it comes to receivers in free agency, I like a lot of the receivers in free agency. I like a lot of the receivers in the draft. I like Nakobe Dean, though I do always say linebacker seems to be the easiest position to replace in the National Football League. Let's go to Salvatore Mandela. Thoughts on drafting Drake London? Where does he rank among your wide receivers? For the Raiders, Drake London would probably be my number 3 guy. I have Chris Olave 1, Garrett Wilson would be 2, then Drake London would be number 3. Though Drake London to me is the guy that has the highest upside. I could see him being somebody like a DK Metcalf. I mean, this dude is 6'5", 220, 210 pounds, super athletic, can jump out of the stadium. However, the ankle does scare me a little bit. He was having a great year at USC. It's just, if you try to make Drake London your true number 1 receiver, I worry that he could struggle similar to what we saw Bryan Edwards this year. Couldn't create separation, started doubting himself, and now you're in a situation where I'm like, I don't know what Bryan Edwards is ever going to be. So what do you have to say about this? I know we've been talking about Chris Olave, we've been talking a lot about other players. I could see Drake London going in the top 15. I could actually see him going in the top 10. He's that special. And if I was the team that believed that I could get the most out of him, then you go ahead and take him. But let's just say Drake London on the board at pick number 22, the wide receiver from USC. Would you take him? Type D for draft, or why don't you go ahead and type P for pass? Let's go to Madman Raider. Who is the best available defensive tackle in free agency? Calais Campbell is my number 2 overall guy, and I'm trying to think of who I originally had number 1. B.J. Hill's number 3. Akeem Hicks. Thank you, Sam. Yeah, Akeem Hicks from the Chicago Bears. He's probably my number 1, but I base that on, 3-year, 4-year deal. I'll put Akeem Hicks over Calais Campbell. If you're looking for a 1-year, prove-it deal, then I would take Calais Campbell above somebody like Akeem Hicks. Let's go to Christopher McGuire. Would you sign Christian Kirk for the right dollar? Yes, absolutely. Christian Kirk last season had, 900-something yards, 5 touchdowns. I really liked when he first came out of Texas A&M, 5'11", 215-pounder. He likes to block as well, which is an important thing that I could see a lot of these new receivers trying to fit well in this Raiders offense. He's my number 7th rated overall wide receiver for Las Vegas. It's just going to come down to money. If $10 million a year for Christian Kirk, sure. If he wants more than that, I'm going to probably pump the brakes a little bit. But again, there's a lot of really good receivers out there. Now, y'all, I understand the fact that I just simply can't get to everyone's question. It's just the way that this whole thing works. So to make sure, if I don't get to your question, and if you want to stay up to date on Raiders news and rumors, please hit me up on IG at Mitchell Renz 365. Let's go to Vincenzo Peoples. Should Raiders draft Travis Jones in the late 2nd round? So Travis Jones, you're actually not the first person to break him up or bring him up for me. Yeah, so this is the athletic freak from UConn. Okay. So I got to do a little bit more research on Travis Jones, but he was a good defensive lineman from top to bottom, another defensive tackle, really good athletic specimen. When I started doing my research on some of these DTs, Jordan Davis obviously came up, Wyatt, DeMarvin Leal from Texas A&M, and then a sleeper was Travis Jones. So from what I know from Jones, a really good overall prospect. He's really good play style, would fit well in a 3-4, but obviously when you play at a school like UConn, a lot of people don't know too much about you. I do like Travis Jones, though. Definitely a sleeper to keep in mind. 6'4", 325 pounds. Let's go to Christopher Leonard. Hi again. Amari back with the Raiders at wide receiver. No. I know there's a lot of rumors out there. I talked to Tom, who runs our Cowboys show, and it does sound like the Cowboys are a little bit fed up with Amari Cooper. They paid him 5 years, $100 million, and even though he's been out there for a lot of games, he just never quite can seem to be healthy. And when he is out there, you're going to get a half-assed effort here and there from Amari. So personally, I'm good on Amari. I would not like to bring him back to the silver and black. Super chat coming in from Brett. What up, brother? Who do you take if London and Davis are both available? How do you feel about trading back and taking the guard out of Boston College? So Zion Johnson I do like quite a bit from Boston College, though I wouldn't trade back to purposely take him. He could actually be a player I see being available to the Raiders in the second round. A lot of times guards, they not that they always fall, but guards do end up falling down the draft because offensive tackles are just the picks that go a little bit higher. In terms of Davis or London, it literally depends what the Raiders do in free agency, and it's a shitty answer, but if the Raiders don't have any of the receivers, like they're going into the season with Bryan Edwards, and say you bring back Zay Jones, you got Hunter Renfrow, those are your top three, then receiver is going to be a bigger need than defensive tackle, especially if you go ahead and you extend Derek Carr. So if they don't do anything at receiver, I'll say Drake London. If they do, it's Jordan Davis. Radaguff Productions, one of my big spenders here. He's always watching. We've got to share up the interior, or we got to shore up, I think is what you mean, the interior defense. First priority, second offensive line. Radaguff, I could not agree with you more in the idea of, I understand people want flash, right? People want a receiver. People want a running back. People want this. The games that are won are in the trenches. Whether that's the offensive line, because you got to keep Derek Carr upright. It also makes Josh Jacobs and our running backs look a lot better when they have holes to run through. And then on the defensive line, the Raiders this past season did such a good job. Why? Because Yannick Ngakoue, Max Crosby, they were absolutely elite, and they could get pressure on the quarterback, which then helped the secondary. What have we always seen? When the Raiders can't get pressure on the quarterback, they just sit back there, they pick you apart, and then your secondary struggles. Defense, offense, it's one in the trenches. So Radaguff, I agree. Got to get the D-line, got to get the offensive line a lot stronger.